Right now at 5, eating healthy when you're on a low income can be hard. We give you tips on how to eat healthy, even if you think you can't afford to.
And we have some snow on the radar this morning. We'll take a look at that as well as your travel conditions and your forecast when we come back.
How Joplin Walmart employees are going above and beyond to help one of their own retire.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach, in-house here this morning with Sam Lane, meteorologist.
And thank you very much, Tanya. Yeah, it's kind of a busy morning here across the storm center. We have some snow on the radar, especially in southeastern Kansas right now, stretching from north central Oklahoma around Ponca City over to Independence, and then Chanute, Fort Scott, snowing pretty good over there in Emporia as well. Now starting to move into Nevada, and you can see that the rain is starting to move over into western Missouri, but this is all going to change you over to some snow as we head through the evening, actually this morning. And then we also have some showers down in Delaware County, just south of Grove. And if you take a look at the road conditions, we're now starting to see some snow-covered roads in central Kansas and now starting to move into our area. Closer in view shows where some of those snow-covered roads are located. You can see here in the pink, over there near Yates Center, also near Iola, on over into Fort Scott, and now starting to move down into the central counties as well, around Chanute and Fredonia. So we're going to be watching that pretty closely. Your day planner looks like this. We're going to have some flurries generally ending around noon, 36 degrees for the high, around 32 for lunchtime with cloudy skies, but then we'll start to see the sun try to break out with a high or temperature of around 34 degrees at 5 o'clock, and then it becomes very cold as we head towards the evening hours with a temperature of 29. Of course, I'll have a complete look at the forecast coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Sam. The former president of the 2023 Joplin High School project graduation is charged with felony stealing. Court documents say 42-year-old Melanie Patterson of Joplin was issued a debit card for the class of 2023's project graduation. The documents show the treasurer for Joplin Project Grad noticed suspicious activity on the account and found 5 cash withdrawals not approved by the organization, totaling $1,400. Authorities say Patterson told detectives the debit card in question was stolen and that she had nothing to do with the thefts. To see the probable cause affidavit, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. A tractor trailer goes off the road in Newton County and crashes into the woods. The crash occurred yesterday afternoon at approximately 1:45 on I-44 east of the 2.8-mile marker when a semi approaching the weigh station made contact with another vehicle and took a hard right. Semi then left the road, went down a deep ravine and into the woods. The driver suffered non-life-threatening injuries. He was taken to an area hospital. The tractor and trailer remained upright and the load remained intact. Living a healthy lifestyle doesn't have to break the bank. One way to save money while eating healthy is by buying food in bulk and meal prepping. Meal prepping can get a little repetitive at times, but you'll see results in your health and wallet.
That's the biggest tip, just planning ahead, buying in bulk, buying whole foods, staying away from like seed oils and dyes and extra chemicals that they put in just to make things look pretty.
Also keep in mind that upholding a healthy lifestyle starts slow, but with consistency, you will reach your goal. On Wednesday, Home Depot in Joplin hosted a screening of a new documentary-style short film that looks at disaster relief efforts surrounding the Joplin tornado. The film is called Hope Builds and was produced by the Home Depot. Yesterday's event also featured a panel discussion with the film's director and a tour of the building's new storm shelter.
I think that, these are all really tragic stories, but I do hope that there's some element of hope in them, that, this is also about people picking the, scraps up after a terrible thing has happened and kind of putting their lives back together and finding some support and some sense of community.
Mayor Doug Lawson was there and even received his own personalized orange apron. Well, some co-workers of a local Walmart employee are reaching out to help a colleague. 75-year-old Bruce Winch works at Walmart in Joplin. His co-worker set up a GoFundMe account for him in hopes of raising enough money to help Bruce retire.
I've always loved him, and everybody's always loved him. He's always grateful. He's always greeting you, asking your day. But Padre always has the love from Walmart associates, and even our customers.
You can help Padre by clicking the link in Carrie's story here on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Freeman Health System is making sure its employees are able to stay healthy. They hosted a fitness fair with 26 vendors showcasing health benefits to Freeman employees. Those vendors included fitness centers, nutrition services, and health organizations.
One or two things that they want to work on this year. So maybe they stop by the diabetes education and just talk about a healthy diet so that they can maybe just watch what they're eating, maybe just start writing it down. Maybe visit with the Y or the Jumpin' Roadrunners and say, hey, I'm going to start, I can do 3 times a week walking for 30 minutes.
Employees who attended the fair were also entered to win door prizes. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, how listening to music can help improve your mood. Plus, TikTok may be accused of spying on Americans and sending their information to China, but there's a lot bigger risk that needs to be addressed. Social media like TikTok is affecting the mental health of teenagers. And how tap water is not as safe for medical devices as most people think. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to This Morning. We are looking at Webb City High School naming a new head football coach yesterday. The Cardinals announced that assistant coach Ryan McFarland will be the new leader of the Cardinals football program. McFarland has served as an assistant coach for Webb City for the last 2 seasons under John Rodriguez. Prior to that, he spent some time as a head coach in both Riverton and in Seneca, but it's a bit of a homecoming for McFarland, who also played for Webb City. Here he is on competing in a league where the teams have continued to become better over the years.
You know, it's a big challenge, but you as a competitor, you want that challenge, and you want that conference where you're gonna have to work extremely hard, and it's one of the best conferences in the state, and it's got some of the best coaches in the state, and hopefully I can hold my own.
You can check out the entire interview with Coach McFarland on our KOAM YouTube page, and be sure to subscribe while you're there. Still to come, at least 6 people are injured, including one critically after a man attacks a crowd in Paris. Plus, we're going to have a check of the 7-day forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns and rolls on. Welcome back and good morning. We have mostly fair conditions down in Seneca, Missouri at the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Clouds are starting to move in, though, ahead of the storm system that's going to be rolling through our area. In fact, we are seeing some snow-packed roads in southeastern Kansas, especially north of Wichita up towards Topeka. But even in our area, we're starting to see some of those roads covered in Yates Center, Iola, on over towards Fort Scott. Already down to 3/4 mile visibility in Chanute with snow there, so it won't be long before some of these other counties start to experience some covered roads with the snow this morning. In fact, here's a look at the radar. You can see it stretches all the way down into north central Oklahoma, up through Independence and Chanute, now moving into Nevada, and then on to the north and east of there. This is moving to the south and east, so everyone's going to see the snow before it ends by around midday. Larger view on the satellite shows big storm system now moving across our area, in fact producing some severe weather in southern Indiana and Kentucky this morning. We're on the back side of that storm system, and it's interacting with the cold air in place, and as a result, that's why we're seeing the snow starting to move across our area. And we're of course watching the big storm out in the Pacific Ocean too. This is a big monster again. You can see the swirl here just off the coast, and there's storm after storm after storm lined up, so it looks like we're going to be in for a change in our pattern in the long term, but until then, we're going to be dealing with some stormy weather. All right, let's take a look at the temperatures. You can see where it's been snowing already, down into the 30s. 31 in Iola right now, 32 in Yates Center. A little bit warmer down to the south and east, but still in the 30s here in Joplin, Miami, 39 degrees. And believe it or not, we're actually a little bit warmer this morning than we were yesterday morning, but we still have the snow coming down right now. It feels like in the teens up towards the north and west, so if you send out the kids this morning, they're going to need their heavy winter coats. And this is going to be, of course, spreading to the south and east as we go through time as well. 39 in Joplin right now, feels like 29. That's because that wind is out of the north at 20 miles an hour. Dew point is 31, so the humidity is kind of high and the pressure is starting to rise. Snow chances this morning, yeah, pretty good bet across the entire area, but notice they drop dramatically as we head through the afternoon. Maybe another flurry or two later on, late tonight and early tomorrow morning, but that's mainly going to be up towards the north. Amounts are going to be on the light side. Not really expecting a lot from this. Maybe a dusting or so, especially for our friends and folks up towards the north. Here's a look at the forecast as we break down the afternoon. We can see temperatures dropping into the 30s with the snow starting to move away by lunchtime, and by evening, partly cloudy skies and temperatures in the 30s. Now, the Seattle School District is suing media companies, alleging their companies harm students' mental health, and some psychologists agree. As Vanessa Yurkovich reports, they are seeing a rise in teen addiction and depression stemming from these apps like the popular TikTok.
Money don't jiggle jiggle, it folds. I like to see you wiggle wiggle.
In just 5 years, TikTok has amassed more than 1 billion global users.
Cutting up all the veggies that are going to go into the broth.
Eyeballs around the world glued to the endless content and viral videos.
How long do you think you spend on TikTok every day?
2 to 3 hours.
3 to 4 hours.
But last month, the U.S. government, along with more than a dozen states, banned TikTok on most federal devices, citing national security concerns over its Chinese parent company and the possibility it could pressure TikTok to hand over personal data.
Riding in my Fiat.
There is no public evidence the Chinese government has done that, but there is evidence of another risk: social media's impact on mental health, particularly among Gen Z.
Teen depression started to rise after 2012. So did self-harm and suicide.
Dr. Jean Twangy says as smartphones and social media grew, so did the rate of depression among teens, nearly doubling between 2004 and 2019. By that year, 1 in 4 U.S. teen girls had experienced clinical depression, according to Twangy.
So there's pro-anorexia videos. There's videos that instruct people on how to cut themselves. What the algorithm's trying to do is get people to use the app for longer, because that's how the company makes more money.
TikTok, in a statement, said, quote, "One of our most important commitments is supporting the safety and well-being of teens, and we recognize this work is never finished. We continue to focus on robust safety protections for our community while also empowering parents with additional controls for their teens' account through TikTok family pairing." Users of TikTok spent an average of an hour and a half a day on the app last year, more than any other social platform.
What is it that keeps you scrolling, even if you know maybe you've spent 1-2 hours on it?
Once you watch the one video, you're like, well, time to watch another. So you just keep doing it. It's like a cycle. You don't realize that the time is passing.
That's exactly what happened to Jerome Yankee.
I'd definitely done all-nighters on TikTok before. I had just been scrolling until the sun came up.
He says he lost sleep. His grades suffered. He lost touch with his friends. He lost his sense of self. In 2021, he deleted the app.
Getting disappointed by my own life is never something I want to be doing, especially when I have the power to change it, but I just wasn't, because I was spending hours on this app.
We have a lot of cool resources that we give to our audience for free, including.
But Hannah Williams proves the positive side of TikTok, allowing her to create a business, Salaried Transparent Street, providing paid transparency to her nearly 1 million followers.
I think TikTok definitely helped just because they have such audience reach potential.
She hopes TikTok's algorithm works in her favor.
Helping people in marginalized communities is the only reason I am doing this. It's my entire mission.
Now, in July, TikTok announced that it would introduce new ways to filter out, quote, potentially problematic videos. It has also recently rolled out a tool that helps people decide just how much time they want to spend on the app. Which brings us to our question this morning: is social media dangerous for teens? Yes or no? We want to hear from you. Go to the KOAMnewsnow.com/vote and vote on the KOAM app or on Facebook, or you can scan the QR code. And we'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning: could giving up on your job or employment too soon in life hurt your long-term mental health? A new study from Birmingham University says going into early retirement plans may speed your cognitive decline. The study looked at pension plans and socioeconomic characteristics in places like China to see how people were affected. Retiring early led to adverse effects like delayed recall and reduced brain activity. People who retired too early also had increased levels of social isolation with faster cognitive decline and participated less in activities like volunteering. Well, scientists say listening to music can improve your mood. Now, listening to music associated with lower levels of stress, according to a University of Vienna study. The research findings came from analyzing adults during the coronavirus lockdowns between April and May of 2020. The study also found that those reporting the highest levels of chronic stress were the ones benefiting the most from an improved mood and higher levels of energy. Well, if you use tap water to rinse your contact lenses or for your neti pot, put them down and listen. Tap water is not safe for nasal rinsing or for use with any home medical device. That's according to a study published Wednesday in the journal Emerging Infectious Diseases. It says a lot of people who were recently surveyed were not aware of the danger. More than half thought tap water was okay for nasal rinsing. Half of survey respondents believed it was okay to rinse contact lenses with tap water, and more than 40% trusted tap water for use in respiratory devices like humidifiers or CPAP machines. And a full third of respondents incorrectly thought tap water does not contain bacteria or other living organisms. Well, drug overdose deaths continue to trend down, dropping slightly for the 5th straight month. That's according to data published Wednesday by the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. CDC estimates more than 107,000 people died of a drug overdose in the 12-month period ending August 2022. That's nearly 3,000 fewer deaths than the record number recorded in the 12-month period ending March of 2022. But it's still more than 50% higher than it was 3 years before that. Synthetic opioids such as fentanyl continue to be involved in more than 2/3 of overdose deaths, which may involve multiple drugs at the same time. Well, some encouraging news about people coping with long-term COVID symptoms. A large study conducted in Israel found most people who contracted a mild case of COVID who saw their long-term symptoms resolve within the first year. Some of the common symptoms included brain fog, loss of smell and taste, breathing problems, dizziness and weakness, heart palpitations, and strep throat. Researchers found most of those problems went away after 12 months, but some doctors say they're still seeing long-term COVID symptoms in their patients. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
Thank you very much. We are seeing some snow on radar moving across southeastern Kansas. And as we go through the day, we're going to see that snow ending from northwest to southeast as we go through the late morning hours. And by lunchtime, this will start to move out of our area with temperatures in the 30s on a north wind. Then as we go through the afternoon, you can see the precipitation moving away from us. We're still going to stay in the 30s with northwesterly winds and starting to see some sun breaking out, especially off towards the north and west. Then as we go through the overnight hours, we're going to see temperatures dropping down into the 20s across our area. So it's going to feel more like winter out there instead of spring like we've been enjoying. And then Friday afternoon, remaining chilly with highs in the mid-30s across our area with northerly winds. Then as we head into the weekend, we're going to see a cold morning on Saturday with lows in the 20s. And then as we head into the afternoon, temperatures start to rebound up into the 50s across our area on southerly winds. And that's pretty good news. Of course, we'll have a complete detail at your 10-day forecast in just a bit.
Right now at 5:30, eating healthy when you're on a low income can be hard, and we give you tips on how to eat healthy even if you think you can't afford to.
We have snow flying across the area this morning. We'll have details on your traffic as well as your forecast when we return.
And how Joplin Walmart employees are going above and beyond to help one of their own retire.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:28. I'm Tanya Bach.
And I'm Sam Lane, sitting in for Chris Warner this morning, who is enjoying the snow probably. If you're in southeastern Kansas especially, you can see on radar right now, we have some snow flying from north central Oklahoma up through Independence and Chanute, Yates Center, on over towards Fort Scott, and now moving into Nevada. A thunderstorm near Pittsburgh, that's getting ready to switch over to a mixture right now. And then of course later on this morning in Joplin, we'll see the snow flying across our area. Some of the traffic conditions across Kansas are looking snow covered in many highways in central and northeastern Kansas around the Topeka area. A little bit closer in view shows some of those snow-packed roads now into or snow covered in Yates Center, Iola, on over towards Fort Scott. Now we're starting to see some partial covering near Fredonia, extending over towards Chanute, and also now Independence. So we're going to see the road conditions deteriorate this morning. Doesn't look like a major problem, but just need to be aware of that if you're heading out. You're planning your day. We're going to see temperatures in the 30s today with the flurries by afternoon, but most of the snow should be over by lunchtime with a temperature of 32, climbing into the lower to mid 30s by afternoon. But then we're going to see temperatures falling like a rock as we head through the overnight hours all the way down into the 20s, 29 degrees by 8 o'clock tonight. So taking a look down the lane, here's what we're expecting. AM snow and then a chilly tomorrow, but don't worry, a warmer weekend is ahead as well as a chance of rain on Monday. And of course, I'll have all the details on that coming up in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Sam. Well, a tractor trailer goes off the road in Newton County and crashes into the woods. The crash occurred yesterday afternoon at approximately 1:45 on I-44, east of the 2.8-mile marker. A semi approaching the weigh station made contact with another vehicle and took a hard right. Semi then left the road, went down a deep ravine and into the woods. The driver suffered non-life-threatening injuries. He was taken to an area hospital. The tractor and trailer, though, remained upright and the load remained intact. Former president of the 2023 Joplin High School project graduation is charged with felony stealing. Court documents say 42-year-old Melanie Patterson of Joplin was issued a debit card for the class of 2023's project graduation. The documents show the treasurer for Joplin Project Grad noticed suspicious activity on the account and found 5 cash withdrawals not approved by the organization. They totaled $1,400. Authorities say Patterson told detectives the debit card in question was stolen and that she had nothing to do with the thefts. To see the probable cause affidavit, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Living a healthy lifestyle does not have to break the bank, and one way to save money while eating healthy is by buying food in bulk and meal prepping. Meal prepping can get a little repetitive at times, but you'll see results in your health and wallet.
That's the biggest tip, just planning ahead, buying in bulk, buying whole foods, staying away from like seed oils and dyes and extra chemicals that they put in just to make things look pretty.
Also keep in mind, upholding a healthy lifestyle starts slow, but with consistency, you will reach your goal. Well, how are you planning for retirement? Coworkers are trying to help a local Walmart employee be able to retire. KOAM's Carrie Worthen has more about their plans and what you need to do to prepare.
Introduce yourself.
This is the Padre coming to you from Walmart on the North Pole.
Bruce Winch, or Padre as he's known, is a Joplin Walmart door greeter. He has been working at Walmart for almost 2 years now. Coworkers say he puts a smile on everyone's face.
I've always loved him, and everybody's always loved him. He's always grateful. He's always greeting you, asking your day, but Padre always has the love from Walmart associates, and even our customers.
Yes, it's cold today.
The 75-year-old's coworkers set up a GoFundMe to help him retire because he doesn't have the money to do so.
For me to help him in any way I could, it makes me feel like a good person, and I feel like he'll be able to finally get that ease and rest for him and his wife so he doesn't have to struggle consistently.
Pittsburgh financial advisor Steve McGravin told me that preparing for retirement is mostly about saving.
When you're looking for retirement, the best thing to do is start saving early and often as possible. The earlier you can start, the better off you're going to be in the long run.
McGravin also said there's other things to watch.
The other thing we see is probably not investing properly. So that's where, even though you're not retirement age, it's also good to have a plan at a younger age to try to set the goal to try to get to that retirement age with a nice nest egg.
Judy Sykes retired 15 years ago at the age of 65. She still works part-time to help her and her husband.
I've worked a little bit off and on. I am working now 4 days a week part-time, and we use that money for our social affairs, things to do for fun. If we didn't have that, we would be living very close to the bone.
Well, I want to end up in 5 years.
Yes.
I hope not the grave, but I'd like to go to retirement for the 3rd time.
Spicer hopes that they're able to help Padre.
We love him, and hopefully you get to retire soon.
In Joplin, Carrie Worthen, KOAM News.
You can help Padre by clicking the link in this story on our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, this morning we're discussing social media and mental health.
In just 5 years, TikTok has amassed more than 1 billion global users. That's billion. Eyeballs around the world glued to the endless content and the viral videos. Last month, the U.S. government and several states banned TikTok on most federal devices over national security concerns. That has no public evidence yet to support the ban.
Now, there is evidence, though, of another risk: social media's impact on mental health, particularly among Gen Z. Psychologist says that as smartphones and social media grew, so did the rate of depression among teens, nearly doubling between 2004 and 2019.
And so that's got us to questioning, is social media dangerous for teens? And we want to hear from you on the KOAMnewsnow.com/vote, and then the KOAM Vote, KOAM app, or Facebook, or of course the QR code.
And you can see the results right now. 100% of respondents say yes, social media is dangerous for teens.
That's quite a high percentage.
See if that changes throughout the morning.
Yeah.
All right. That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News, we say goodbye to an old friend as a man who helped make TV magic here at KOAM retires. We introduce you to the man, the myth, the legend himself, Dale Switzer.
Plus, officials in Poland announced that they have about 400 items hidden by Jews in World War II that have been unearthed. And of course, we'll have the latest on that.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping World Watch, a treasure trove of items discovered in Poland are believed to have been hidden during World War II. Officials in Poland say about 400 items, including silver-plated Hanukkah menorahs, tableware, and other items were stashed underground by their Jewish owners during the war. The items, wrapped in newspapers, were uncovered during home renovation work in a yard in Lodz, just outside the perimeter of the Litzmannstadt ghetto, established by the Nazi Germans in February of 1940. About 200,000 Jews from across Europe died there, and many more were killed in other concentration camps. At least 6 people are injured, including one in critical condition after a man attacked a crowd of people in Paris on Wednesday. Officials say it happened at Gare du Nord at 6:45 in the morning, their time. The French Interior Minister says a group of off-duty police officers jumped into action and shot the suspect several times. He's now in critical condition and is being treated for his injuries. Minister says the weapon used in the attack was made by the suspect and is not a knife. The motive is not yet known. The Paris prosecutor's office says a member of the French border police is among those injured. Well, Jeff Beck, often described as the greatest rock and roll guitarist of all time, has died. A statement posted on social media says the 78-year-old contracted bacterial meningitis and died on Tuesday. Beck was born in Britain. He rose to fame in the 1960s when he replaced Eric Clapton in the Yardbirds. He left a year later to start his own band, the Jeff Beck Group, which featured Rod Stewart and Ron Wood. Beck was inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1992 as part of the Yardbirds and inducted again in 2009 as a solo artist. He received 8 Grammy Awards during his career. Beck recently had been on a worldwide tour with longtime friend Johnny Depp to promote their debut album, 18. We'll have more on him in our 7 o'clock show. Iran's Supreme Court has suspended the death sentence of a 19-year-old protester who was under imminent threat of execution this week, but the crackdown on dissent is still ongoing across the country. Iran's Attorney General's office has ordered police to, in their words, deal decisively nationwide with women who violate the country's hijab law. Yomana Kardesh reports.
Hijab or no hijab, onwards to a revolution, they chant. Death to the dictator. Those who know the regime know it will never give up the hijab, one of the pillars of the Islamic Republic. But many say that's not what this is about. It's about their right to choose, their right to speak, to live with no fear, to be free. The past few weeks, the world got to see just a little of how far the regime will go to silence its own people. Any voice, every voice can be silenced in the Republic of Fear. Dozens of journalists like Nilofar Hamedi and Ilahe Mohammadi are behind bars. The two were among the first to tell the world the story of Mahsa Jina Amini. The regimes accused them of orchestrating the protests and being agents of foreign states. Rights activist and blogger Hussein Ronaki is no stranger to regime jails. He was violently arrested in September and reportedly tortured. This is what 64 days in the notorious Evin prison and a hunger strike did to Ronaki, only out for urgent medical treatment. Many artists and musicians like dissident rapper Tumaj Salehi and rapper Saman Yassin have been arrested. According to the UN rights groups and state media, the two are now facing the death penalty. And there are the voices that have been silenced forever. No one really knows how many, hundreds, maybe more. For those mourning their dead are also being harassed and intimidated into silence. This grieving mother walked the streets holding up a portrait of her 16-year-old son, Siavash Mahmoudi. She wanted people to see her boy's face and hear his name. They killed him. They shot him in the head, she cried. They told me to be silent. I won't be quiet. They will not be silenced, they say. This is a battle to save the future, a battle for a free Iran. Jumana Karachi, CNN, Istanbul.
That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. Here's Sam with another look at your forecast.
Thank you very much, Tanya. Yeah, it's snowing out there, especially across southeastern Kansas this morning. You can see some snow-covered roads in many parts of Kansas. If you're traveling this morning, looks like the most heaviest snow has been falling up north of Wichita near Topeka. If we take a little closer in view, you can see that even in our area, we're starting to see some travel issues. Covered snow, or roads covered with snow in Fort Scott, Iola, Yates Center, also partially covered near Fredonia over towards Chanute, and also just to the west of Independence, and also north of Sedan as well, over near Howard, some partially covered roads there. And we're going to see intermittent problems with travel if you're heading out this morning. Here's a look at live radar. You can see the snow extending from north of Stockton to Nevada to Pittsburgh, or just north of Pittsburgh, Chanute, Independence, down into Bartlesville. This snow is reducing visibilities down to about a mile or so, even 3/4 of a mile at Chanute. It's moving to the south and east, so eventually this snow will make its way into the metro area. Don't expect a lot of travel problems with it, as it's going to be rapidly moving away as we go through the morning hours. But temperatures are very chilly. 31 in Yates Center right now, 29 in Iola, 32 in Chanute where it's been snowing, 33 in Fort Scott, 35 still in Pittsburgh, and a little bit warmer down to the south where it's still 40 degrees in Bella Vista as well as Jay. But when you factor in the wind, this is what it feels like. Feels already in the teens up in Iola with 15, 18 in Yates Center, same in Neodesha, 19 in Independence. Here in the metro area, it feels like around 30 degrees with those northerly winds. In fact, here in Joplin, it's 39 with the north wind at 20, so it feels like 29 out there. The dew point's 31. And the humidity is currently at 73%. Now, we do expect basically 100% chance of snow this morning, but those chances start to decrease as we go through the morning, and then maybe a flurry or two tomorrow morning, but it looks like the best chance of that is going to be up towards the north and east. Snowfall amounts are going to be light, not expecting a whole lot of accumulation. Maybe pick up some dusting and an inch of accumulation near Nevada over towards Greenfield and points to the north and east. But we're going to continue to watch that as we go through the morning. Here's your forecast. As we go through the day, we're going to see the snow moving away as we go through the morning, with temperatures dropping into the 30s on northerly winds. Then as we head into the afternoon, temperatures still in the mid-30s across the area. Then the clouds should start to move away. And tonight we're going to see temperatures dropping down into the 20s, maybe in a few teens in some isolated spots. Then tomorrow, mostly sunny with highs in the 30s across our area with northerly winds. Of course, we'll have more news and weather when we come back.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The former president of the 2023 Joplin High School project graduation is charged with felony stealing. Court documents say 42-year-old Melanie Patterson of Joplin was issued a debit card for the class of 2023's project graduation. The documents show the treasurer for Joplin project grad noticed suspicious activity on the account and found 5 cash withdrawals not approved by the organization, totaling $1,400. Authorities say Patterson told detectives the debit card in question was stolen and that she had nothing to do with the thefts. To see the probable cause affidavit, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. On Wednesday, Home Depot in Joplin hosted a screening of a new documentary-style short film that looks at disaster relief efforts surrounding the Joplin tornado. The film is called Hope Builds. It was produced by the Home Depot. Yesterday's event also featured a panel discussion with the film's director and a tour of the building's new storm shelter. Some coworkers of a local Walmart employee are reaching out to help their colleague. 75-year-old Bruce Winch works at Walmart in Joplin. His coworker set up a GoFundMe account for him in hopes of raising enough money to help Bruce retire. Pittsburgh financial advisor Steve McGavern said one mistake some people make saving for retirement is not starting early enough. Freeman Health System is making sure its employees are able to stay healthy. They hosted a fitness fair with 26 vendors showcasing health benefits to Freeman employees. Those vendors included fitness centers, nutrition services, and health organizations. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. We've seen a lot of KOAM TV co-workers come and go over the years, but none who've been around longer than one guy we affectionately call the Wizard. He's been conjuring up TV magic from behind the curtain for 47 years. Now he's decided to begin a long-earned retirement. But we can't say goodbye without a hello. So we take a moment to introduce you to the old friend you've never met.
Wanted to do this in the control room because it is one of the few things that has been at this TV station longer than we have.
Control room, that's misnamed from the very beginning.
He knows the station inside and out. You might not know his name or face, but generations of KOAM viewers know the voice.
You've been watching KOAM TV, Pittsburgh, Joplin.
Dale Switzer was a young 20-something when he and his new bride made the trip to their new home for his new job at KOAM TV. That was in 1975. In the decades since, Dale has been a lot more than an announcer. He's made appearances on live TV.
I was hoping we would have some good weather to talk about today. I like to be associated with good weather.
And in commercials.
Dang, man, but nobody's going to care what kind of boots you wear to a bank robbery.
And pulled levers behind the scenes, directing music shows and kids shows and newscasts, long enough to work alongside hundreds of colleagues. Some you've forgotten, and some might seem familiar.
My son had a way of saying his name.
What was that?
Brian Williams.
In his early days as the station's artist, Dale sketched the ads that appeared in local newspapers and TV Guide, and never stopped creating caricatures of coworkers as they moved on to other jobs.
They were leaving, I believe, just to get those drawings, I'm pretty sure.
Dale mastered digital art when computers were still young. As the technology evolved, Dale's creations did too, in commercials, special projects, and documentaries. Even in retirement, Dale will continue finding creative outlets in projects such as his personal websites. You want to check out lovewellhistory.com.
I've been neglecting lately, but get back into that.
Happy retirement. And here's to you for enriching the lives of four-staters for nearly half a century in ways they never knew. It's about time they knew your name, Dale Switzer.
Thanks for pulling me out into the light.
Cheers.
Briefly.
Wait, I thought there were no food or drinks in the control room. Well, we recorded a roughly 1-hour conversation with Dale. So he gives us an inside look at the history of this TV station and the people behind it. You can see that entire discussion on the KOAM YouTube page. It's titled 47 Years of KOAM History with Dale Switzer. You'll hear some behind-the-scenes stories you've never heard before. We hope you check it out. You can go directly to the KOAM YouTube page with this QR code, or look for the link on KOAMnewsnow.com and our Facebook page. We'll be back with another look at your forecast when we return. Move over Mars. NASA is touting a new discovery that is potentially habitable for life. This is an illustration of an exoplanet the space agency is calling TOI 700E. A NASA mission spotted the Earth-sized planet about 100 light years away. They say it's the fourth planet orbiting a small star's habitable zone. That's the zone where a planet is at a safe enough distance from a star that it can potentially have liquid water on its surface. According to scientists, the potential for water also suggests the potential for life on that planet. Researchers say this system is one of the few with multiple small habitable zone planets that they have confirmed exist.
Thank goodness we are on a planet that we're inhabiting right now, and that's good news. We have some snow across our area, especially across the state of Kansas this morning. Some of the roads are starting to become covered with snow, especially in central and northeastern Kansas up and around Topeka. So if you're heading that direction, just be aware of that. Closer in view shows some of the snow-covered roads in our area too, here in the pink shaded. Fort Scott over towards Iola, Yates Center, partially covered over near Fredonia, over towards Chanute. And we could see this extend down towards our area as we head through the morning hours, as we're expecting the snow to continue. You can see on radar right now, we still have the snow stretching from near Nevada over towards Pittsburgh, Independence, Chanute, and over in towards northern parts of Oklahoma. Of course, we'll have a complete look at the forecast when we come back. Stay with us and we'll be right back.
Right now at 6, a new year means new city planning. And for the Downtown Joplin Alliance, that means one word: networking.
We have one word to talk about this morning, and that's snow. Snow is flying across southeastern Kansas. Of course, we'll have details on your forecast when we come back.
And a new year, new you. But that new you could cost money. And we talked to the experts about how you can pursue that healthier lifestyle without putting a burden on your budget.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
And I'm Sam Lane with a look at your weather this morning as Chris is taking the day off. But he picked a great day to take off because we have some snow across the area, especially in southeastern Kansas this morning. And it's starting to impact some of the travel in our region. If we take a look closer in view, you can see that some of the roads are covered with snow from Fort Scott over towards Iola, Yates Center, partially covered down in Fredonia near Chanute. And we're going to see this as we continue through the morning hours. The snow starting to fly across our area. In fact, let's take a look at radar right now. You can see snow extending from Bartlesville up towards Independence, now starting to move into Pittsburgh, also now approaching Lamar up towards Nevada and Fort Stockton, and also around Chanute this morning as well. And your bus stop forecast, if you're sending the kids out, there's going to be some snow out there this morning with a little bit of winds out of the northwest with temperatures right around or just slightly above freezing. Then as we head home this afternoon, we're going to see partly cloudy skies with temperatures still in the mid-30s with northerly winds. And if you're planning your day, this is what we're expecting. A high of 36 with some flurries, especially this morning into around the lunchtime hour. The snow should be ending by around midday with temperatures in the right around freezing, maybe getting up a little bit higher than that by 5 o'clock with around 34. And then temperatures are going to start falling like a rock tonight with temperatures dropping down into the 20s. And I'll have more details on your 7-day forecast in just a little bit.
All right, thanks, Sam. Authorities charged the former president of the 2023 Joplin High School project graduation with felony stealing. Court documents say 42-year-old Melanie Patterson of Joplin was issued a debit card for the class of 2023's project graduation. The documents show the treasurer for Joplin project grad noticed suspicious activity on the account and found 5 cash withdrawals not approved by the organization. Those totaled $1,400. Authorities say Patterson told detectives the debit card in question was stolen and that she had nothing to do with the thefts. To see the probable cause affidavit, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. Well, a tractor trailer goes off the road in Newton County and crashes into the woods. The crash happened yesterday afternoon, approximately 1:45 on I-44 east of the 2.8-mile marker, when a semi approaching the weigh station made contact with another vehicle and took a hard right. The semi then left the road and went down a deep ravine into the woods. The driver suffered non-life-threatening injuries. He was taken to an area hospital. The tractor and trailer, though, remained upright and the load remained intact. Joplin firefighters plan to resume safety inspections in businesses within the city. These inspections are carried out for every business on an annual basis. They were put on hold during the pandemic, but are scheduled to resume in mid-January. The reason for the inspections is to prevent fire hazards and encourage a safe working environment. But But it also provides Joplin firefighters with the opportunity to familiarize themselves with the buildings within the city they serve. The Downtown Joplin Alliance kicks off the new year with a networking event, and it's called Downtown Now. It took place at the new Cornell complex. It gives business owners and residents a chance to connect and learn more about what's happening.
Or being proud of Joplin gives you a sense of who you are and where you're going, and just kind of digging in. Joplin is such an interesting place because it's kind of big enough that we have really about everything you need. But it's small enough that you can still kind of make a difference, and you can really still be part of what's happening and be part of the development or being part of the change.
The Alliance hopes to host more Downtown Now events in the future. Well, if you are a resident of Joplin, the city wants to hear from you. The city of Joplin recently put out a survey to see what its citizens think about city services. The city looks to receive meaningful feedback on how it can deliver municipal services, and city staff will review the results and present the findings to the city council as a tool for planning resources for future projects and action plans. All responses are anonymous. The survey will be open from now until January 20th. Printed copies of the survey can be found at the Joplin Public Library, or you can head over to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com and take the survey there. Living a healthy lifestyle does not have to break the bank, and if going to a gym is not your preference, you can work out at home using household objects while you cook dinner or do chores. Thinking outside the box when it comes to getting active can save money and make your fitness goals more attainable.
So whenever people realize that they have so many things we can call exercise equipment actually already in their home, I do see a sense of excitement. You know, people that maybe had exercised in high school or during their college days, or just before they had kids, or before they got really busy, or they have to work 2 jobs.
Also keep in mind that upholding a healthy lifestyle starts slow, but with consistency, you will reach your goal. Well, it's time once again for nominations for the 4 states' finest, our 2023 Viewers' Choice Awards for KOAM News Now. All you have to do is go to KOAMnewsnow.com/finest and nominate your favorite businesses. You can submit a nominee for any of several categories, including health, fitness, shopping, restaurants, and more. You help choose the finest, and each week, one viewer will be randomly chosen to win $100. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News. If it's the new year, you know what that means. We've got Chef Anthony back in the Chef Anthony Test Kitchen. And today, he's making fried chicken. Plus, good news for long COVID sufferers. A new study says most of the persistent symptoms of long COVID resolve themselves. We'll have the details. And meteorologist Sam Lane has another look at some potentially frosty 4-state weather conditions. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. Topping Nation Watch this morning, we're getting some new details on what caused flights to be grounded nationwide yesterday. And this happened after a system that delivers safety information to pilots failed. It's back up and running, but CBS's Jared Hill has details on what the FAA says went wrong and what happens next.
Air traffic is set to return to normal today after frustration on the not-so-friendly skies Wednesday.
Started out early this morning at 9 o'clock in Tulsa, and it was delayed, and I went to Houston, and it was delayed.
The FAA's early morning ground stop lifted after the crucial Notice to Air Missions Safety System, or NOTAMs, broke down late Tuesday. By the end of Wednesday, though, more than 11,000 flights had been delayed or canceled. According to the FAA, early investigations have, quote, traced the outage to a damaged database file. Secretary of Transportation Pete Buttigieg.
We're going to own it, we're going to find it, and we're going to fix it.
This latest bout of turbulence comes a week after another FAA system glitch had flights delayed at Florida airports, and the Christmas holiday fiasco had some passengers stranded for days.
We have a very good air traffic system in this nation, but when we have situations like this, it shows us that we do have vulnerabilities.
Some aviation experts say the industry has talked for years about trying to modernize the NOTAM system. While the current problem appears to be fixed, the White House says there's more work to do.
We want to make sure that we get to the root causes so this does not happen again.
The FAA says it's also still working to understand why backup systems failed to keep the Notice to Air Mission system running. Jared Hill, CBS News, New York.
The White House and the FAA both say there is currently no evidence this was a cyber attack. Canadian Air Traffic Control suffered a similar outage yesterday, though. Officials there say they do not believe the two incidents are related. That's a look at one of today's top national stories. Here's meteorologist Sam Lane with a look at your forecast.
And we have a little bit of snow on the radar this morning, and stepped outside just a second ago. It's snowing here or just outside our studios. You can see that the snow extends across southeastern Kansas up towards Nevada and then over into central Missouri. Let's take a closer in view, and you can see some of the snow mixing with rain around Lamar down towards Carthage, but it has changed over to snow here in south of Pittsburgh, extending on towards Oswego and Columbus, down into northern Oklahoma, into northern Nowata and Craig counties. This is all moving to the south and east, so we're going to be seeing the snow moving across the metro area over the next couple of hours, just in time for rush hour. And you can see that some of the roads in southeastern Kansas are starting to be impacted. Some of them are snow covered, so be careful if you're up towards Yates Center and Iola, on over towards Fort Scott, and some of them are partially covered. Now in Missouri, most of the roads right now are still clear, but that could change as we go through the morning hours a little bit, especially up towards the north near Nevada. So if you're planning your day, this is what we can expect. 36 degrees for the high. Around lunchtime, the snow will be ending around freezing. 34 at 5 o'clock and 29 degrees at 8 o'clock. And of course, I'll have all the details in your 7-day forecast when we come back.
Topping Health Watch this morning, a new study in the journal BMJ may help put long COVID sufferers at ease. Researchers found most of the persistent symptoms that develop after a mild bout of the virus, including fatigue or shortness of breath, generally resolve within a year and do not lead to chronic long-term illness, especially for vaccinated patients. Well, scientists in China suggest a simple blood test may help pregnant women reduce their risk of serious complications. Screening was able to detect key changes in the gut bacteria of patients who experienced preeclampsia or gestational diabetes and could provide an early warning system for mothers-to-be. And just 6 minutes of high-intensity exercise may help ward off cognitive decline. That's according to scientists in New Zealand who found brief but vigorous exercise routines, more so than lengthy ones, actually help the body produce a special protein essential for brain formation, learning, and memory. Well, if you take dietary or herbal supplements, buyer beware. Cardiologists are reporting a recent surge in heart problems in people in their 20s and 30s. This adds to the concern that some heart doctors have voiced for years about other supplements, including calcium. Dow Quick has the story.
Bitter orange for heartburn or nausea, ephedra for colds, and fish oil for heart health. But instead of boosting your health, could they hurt your heart? Some cardiologists say these supplements, which are mostly unregulated, have contributed to irregular heartbeats in people under 30. Johns Hopkins preventative cardiologist Erin Mikos has studied dietary supplements in the heart for years. She's focused on the impact of calcium supplements. Good for bones, but maybe bad for the heart.
So many individuals are taking these when many well-done clinical trials have shown that these supplements are no better than placebo, and they may be a waste of money, and in worst case scenario, there may be some harm.
Instead, Dr. Mikos and other experts encourage patients to alter their diets to get the nutrients they need.
I really push my patients to try to get that from food sources alone.
So, more milk, cheese, and yogurt for a calcium boost. Here's some other substitutions. Rub bitter orange on the skin instead of ingesting it, and you'll still have the benefits. Use green tea extract instead of ephedra. And for those omega-3s, eat salmon or mackerel instead of taking fish oil. Healthy substitutes that may also protect your heart. Dow Quick, KOAM News.
According to the National Center for Complementary and Integrative Health, part of the NIH, there are reports of otherwise healthy people fainting and having chest pain after taking a supplement that contained bitter orange as one of many ingredients. But experts say it's hard to know if bitter orange caused the health problem. Also, the National Collegiate Athletic Association, or the NCAA, has placed bitter orange on its current list of banned drugs, listing it as a stimulant. That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching KOAM Morning News.
Thank you very much, Tanya. We are seeing some not we're seeing some snow on the radar, but not down in Seneca, Missouri. You can see right now things are pretty nice and quiet down there, but the snow is on its way as we head through the morning hours. Right now we're seeing road conditions deteriorating across northeastern Kansas down towards to the north of Wichita, even in our area. Let's zoom in, take a little bit closer in view. You can see some of the snow covered roads up in around Yates Center towards Iola, over towards Fort Scott, partially covered around Fredonia over towards Chanute, and also some wet pavement and some partially covered roads down near Independence. Now on the Missouri side, most of the roads right now are all clear, but if you're heading up towards Jeff City, there's some partially covered roads up there as well with the snow. Here's a look at the radar right now. You can see that the snow extends from western Missouri down through Pittsburgh, snowing now in Joplin, also down towards into northern Oklahoma, in northern Nowata and northern Craig counties. And we're going to see that as we go through the morning. In fact, here's a look at your bus stop forecast. Sending out the kids, be prepared for some snow with temperatures around 33 degrees this morning. But by afternoon, when they come home, conditions are going to be improving with partly cloudy skies and 35 degrees for the trip home. All right, planning your day, 36 for the high with some flurries ending by noon, 32 degrees at lunchtime, 34 at 5 and 29 by 8 o'clock. Now temperatures right now are of course falling below freezing where it has been snowing. 30 in Yates Center, 29 in Iola, 35 in Oswego, a little bit warmer down in Jay and in Bella Vista where they're currently sitting at 39 degrees. But when you factor in the wind, it feels like it's in the teens, especially up towards the north and west. In Iola where it feels like it's 16 right now, 30 in Anderson and 32 down in Bentonville. Now you can see on the tower cam, wet pavement and also some snowflakes flying in the Joplin area. 38 out at the airport, but take a look at the wind. North at 22, so it makes it feel like it's 27 out there with the pressure rising. Snow chances this morning are greatest over the next few hours, ending by around 9 a.m. And then as we head through the forecast, you can see the snow chances are going to start decreasing as we go through the afternoon, with temperatures still remaining in the 30s with northwesterly winds. And then tonight, we're going to be seeing temperatures dropping down into the 20s across our area, maybe a few teens in some isolated spot with northerly winds. And then as we go through the day tomorrow, we're going to stay in the 30s for the most part with northerly winds. And then as we go into Friday night, Saturday morning, temperatures once again in the 20s, but our winds are going to turn back around to the south and east, helping us warm back up as we head into Friday or Saturday afternoon with partly cloudy skies and highs in the 50s. And it only gets warmer as we go into Sunday, but we have a cool morning with generally lows in the 40s. Your next 7 days looks like this. 40% chance of the snow this morning, so it is an alert day, and a high of 36. Then tomorrow, 22. And then as we head into the weekend, warmer conditions with highs in the 50s and 60s. And then another chance of rain on Monday, especially in the morning, and a better chance of storms on Wednesday with a high of 56.
Back Chef Anthony Fisher to the Chef Anthony Test Kitchen, Pittsburgh High School culinary arts instructor. It's been a few weeks, and I know you've been on school break, so things are back in session and ready to get going again with us here on the morning show as well.
Yes, they're back in session. We're learning lots of good things. We've been talking about sandwiches for the last couple of days. So I thought I would bring you a nice twist to chicken fried chicken. Most people, they sit down with chicken fried chicken and it's gravy and mashed potatoes and whatever side that you want to go along with it, but why not a sandwich?
Okay.
You know, it's chicken fried chicken and you can do a sandwich up with it, whether it be an open face sandwich or just a sandwich you pick up and eat, like a good old fashioned pork loin sandwich or a chicken fried steak sandwich, but they're all made the same.
Okay.
So we're gonna lay out how to do them the easy way.
And if you've ever felt like beating someone or something with a frying pan, today's your day.
Yes. So what I have here is a nice little chicken breast. What I always do is I split my chicken breast right down the middle.
I noticed you're wearing gloves, so that's...
Yes.
Yeah.
Just want to be on the safe side. And we're going to do this for both pieces of chicken. But I have my chicken set to the side. I'm going to pull out a big old piece of plastic. And we're going to cover our chicken. Because when you pound on the chicken, the juices and such go everywhere. Mm-hmm. So we're going to cover it in plastic.
Okay. Top and bottom?
Top and bottom. Just lay it right on there. Lay a piece of plastic right over the top of it until it's covered like so. Push down the plastic around the outside edges of it, but not right on the meat, so that the meat has room to spread.
Okay.
And then we just set everything up. We're going to take a nice heavy skillet, one that we use. Try not to use a cast iron skillet. These are just the
Why not?
everyday.
Is it too heavy?
Cast iron skillet, you might break the skillet, you might break the surface that you're working on. You got to be a little careful. Okay. So this is just one of my everyday saute skillets.
Yeah, that's pretty fast.
Oh yes, and it makes it nice and even, especially if your pan is relatively even on the bottom of it. But remember, if it's not a heavy-duty pan, don't do this. Don't break your good skillets at home. If you have, I like the Pioneer Women prints, but they're not really meant for this kind of use. So, but as you can see, it's almost doubled in size, and it's tenderized for us.
Yeah, it is.
So you can actually lay these out just like this, and then set it to the side and do another one and stack them up.
Okay.
Leaving in the plastic until you're ready to start your breading and your cooking process all the way through. Now, if you do steak, same way. Cut a nice thin piece off of a sirloin and lay it in here, pound it out till you get to the thickness that you want. Pork tenderloin.
What is the desired thickness that we're shooting for chicken?
For chicken, I like to keep mine just about a 1/4 inch.
Okay.
So I think it makes it nice and easy to bite through. I don't overpower the breading. It's not too much breading versus chicken. It's a nice, even sandwich all the way through.
Plus, if you get it too big, you're not going to find bread that'll fit it.
Exactly. So, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like walking into those restaurants and finding that big old pork tenderloin sandwich. It's like this big with a bun this big on it. I think that's great. But realistically, if you're at home, you want to do something easy for yourself, this is the way to do it.
Okay.
Now, pork tenderloin works the best for this. Trim the fat caps off of it. Beef sirloin works really good for this, or tenderloin, but tenderloin tends to pull itself apart, so it doesn't hold structurally really well. But sirloin, it works great because you want short fibers that'll hold together and withstand the cooking process, withstand the beating process.
But today we're working with chicken.
But today we're working with chicken because I'm just like in a mood for chicken. So, but don't forget, anytime that you're going to fry something, you need to make sure that you're very conscious of your oil. Don't overheat your oil so that you start a fire in the house. Be aware of what you're working with and the temperatures of it at all times. You can even do this in an air fryer. Once you get this done, if your air fryer has a rack in it that lifts it up, these work great in an air fryer.
Oh, good to know. Okay.
So.
All right, when we come back on the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14, we're going to bread the chicken and fry it and prepare our sandwich.
Yes, we're going to bread it and fry it and lay it out and let Tanya try it. My kids actually did the breading seasoning mix. They were working on it last night. They were very excited for you.
The best part is let Tanya try it.
Yes, let Tanya try it.
Let me see. Like all fall, you got me with as much spice as you could. So is there heat in today's breading?
I don't know. They wouldn't let me see.
Oh.
They were like, it was like the mad science doctor lab over there, and all my club students were standing around.
Is it edible?
I think so.
You have to stick around to find out. In the meantime, we will be right back with more news and weather when we return. Right now at 6:30, a new year means new city planning, and for the Downtown Joplin Alliance, that means one word: networking.
And snow is the word this morning across parts of our area. You can see on radar we have some snow bands moving through. I'll have your forecast.
And a new year means a new you, but that new you could cost money. We talked to the experts about how you can pursue that healthier lifestyle without putting a burden on your budget.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 6:31. I'm Tanya Bach.
And I'm Sam Lane, sitting in for Chris Warner this morning, who's hopefully enjoying the snow day. We have some snow across the area, especially in southeastern Kansas, now moving into northern Oklahoma. In fact, there's a winter weather advisory that has just been issued for St. Clair, Cedar, Dade, and Lawrence counties in our area, where accumulations might be a little bit more problematic for those folks. But let's take a zoom in look and show you what's going on in the metro area. You can see the snow now starting to move into the northern parts of the metro area around Carthage, also in Columbus and Pittsburgh, down towards Miami and Veneta. This is all moving to the south and east, so it looks like everyone's going to see a little bit of the snow this morning. Traffic conditions are not that bad in our area. It's a little bit more problems up towards the north and west, but some of the roads are covered with snow up in Yates Center, Iola, Fort Scott, and also partially covered near Fredonia over towards Chanute, and also maybe a road there west of Independence, partially covered as well. Not expecting a lot of travel problems, but just give yourself a little bit of extra time this morning. This afternoon, we're making it up to 36 degrees with the flurries ending by lunchtime, and we'll be around 32 degrees at lunch, 34 degrees by 5 o'clock, and then 29 degrees at 8 o'clock, with temperatures dropping down into the 20s. Look down the lane. Well, we're going to have the morning snow. We're going to have a chilly tomorrow, but there is a warmer weekend in store for us as well as a chance of rain on Monday. And of course, I'll have all details on that coming up in just a bit. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Sam. Well, Freeman Health System wants to make sure its employees are able to stay healthy. They hosted a fitness fair with 26 vendors showcasing health benefits to Freeman employees, and those vendors included fitness centers, nutrition services, and health organizations.
One or two things that they want to work on this year. So maybe they stop by the diabetes education and just talk about a healthy diet so that they can maybe just watch what they're eating, maybe just start writing it down. Maybe visit with the Y or the Joplin Roadrunners and say, hey, I'm going to start, I can do 3 times a week walking for 30 minutes.
Employees who attended the fair were also entered to win door prizes. The Downtown Joplin Alliance kicks off the new year with a networking event. It's called Downtown Now, and it took place at the new Cornell Complex. It gives business owners and residents a chance to connect and learn more about what's happening.
It's what builds the sense of community, that sense of place and belonging. There's no downtown like Joplin's downtown anywhere else. You know, it's the only place that you can go and get these buildings and get that. You can't build a historic building, and so that connection, that sense of place, that sense of belonging, that sense of continuity is so important.
The Alliance hopes to host more Downtown Now events in the future. Well, many people want to start a healthy lifestyle as they start the new year. However, some realize being and eating healthy in this economy can be expensive. KOAM's Amber Jenkins spoke to health and fitness experts about having a healthy lifestyle without breaking the bank.
Upholding a healthy lifestyle can be difficult for someone who's on a budget. However, what's in your wallet doesn't have to hold you back.
I think it's more of a stereotype. You can definitely still eat on a budget and eat healthy. I just always recommend, keeping it simple, eating whole foods. You don't want to eat things that have a lot of extra, they'll put in extra chemicals and oils just to make things look better and taste a little bit better. Those things aren't good for you.
Buying clean, whole foods in bulk can be cheaper than eating out. Meal prepping can get a little repetitive at times, but you'll see results in your health and wallet.
I mean, honestly, anymore, just to get a fast food meal is about $15 a person, which is insane, but you can definitely still eat on at home on a healthy or a cheaper budget for that.
Eating healthy is only half the battle. You can get active from your home using household objects as well.
I like to ask people whenever I do an assessment here, do you have a couch at home? That's a piece of equipment. Do you have a countertop at home? Do you have a wall? Do you have a bed? Do you have a chair that doesn't have wheels on it? Those are all pieces of equipment that we can do numerous things on. I mean, I could build a 2-hour workout for 5 days a week using just the equipment that I just named.
Thinking outside the box when it comes to getting active can save money and make your fitness goals more attainable.
So whenever people realize that they have so many things we can call exercise equipment actually already in their home, I do see a sense of excitement. People that maybe had exercised in high school or during their college days or just before they had kids or before they got really busy or they have to work 2 jobs.
With the economy changing and inflation fluctuating, starting a healthy lifestyle can seem discouraging. But with determination and opportunistic thinking, a healthy lifestyle is achievable for anyone.
Experts also told Amber to remember having a healthy lifestyle could start slow, but with consistency, you will reach your goal. Well, this morning, we're discussing social media and mental health.
That's right. In just 5 years, TikTok has amassed more than 1 billion global users. That's a lot of eyes watching a lot of content. And last month, the U.S. government and several states banned TikTok on most federal devices over national security concerns. But as of yet, no public evidence to support that ban.
There is evidence of another risk, social media's impact on mental health, particularly among Gen Z. A psychologist says that as smartphones and social media grew, so did the rate of depression among teens, nearly doubling between 2004 and 2019.
And that brings us to this morning's question, and that is social media dangerous for teens? We want to hear from you. Of course, you can go to KOAMnewsnow.com/vote, and you can also vote on the app as well as Facebook or the QR code. And it looks like we're getting some results there.
It doesn't look like it's changed much
No,
from earlier. It was
95%.
100%, but it's still 95,
Yeah,
which
95%. That's interesting.
All right.
So, looks
All
like
right.
they might need to curb that a little bit.
Are you a fan of TikTok?
I am not. And that's all I'm going to say. Mainly because I don't dance. And I know that TikTok is mainly filled with dancing, right?
Yeah, a lot of it. Like trying to fill a little meme and like, I don't know. I have a lot of friends that do it. I made one for my business, but I'm like, it's so time consuming.
I know.
It takes forever to do them.
Now, there are some meteorologists out there that, one in particular in Omaha, that makes a TikTok video practically every single day. And I'm like, I'm not doing it.
KOAM has a TikTok, and if you'd like to follow
That's
that,
right.
you can check out and find your latest news. And I know Doug does some weather forecast on it too.
He does. He does. We're everywhere. We're on everything.
Yeah, there you go. We're here in the morning too.
That's right.
That's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, the Mega Millions jackpot now tops $1 billion. Do you have the winning numbers?
And plus, we are going to be looking at radar because there is some snow flying this morning across our area. Winter weather advisory for some folks as well. We'll have all the forecast when we come back. In Consumer Watch this morning, as mentioned earlier, the Federal Aviation Administration says a preliminary preview has traced the source of yesterday's system outage to a damaged database file and that they have found no evidence of a cyber attack. The FAA's notice to air mission systems was down for multiple hours starting late Tuesday, forcing the cancellation or delay of more than 10,000 flights yesterday, according to FlightWare. And the Department of Veterans Affairs has proposed a new rule to waive medical copays for Native American and Alaska Native veterans for any visits to a VA-authorized primary care provider. The VA says the intent of the policy is to encourage veterans to seek primary care treatment and to give them better access to health care. The proposed rule change is going through a 30-day public comment period before it will be finalized. And this Friday the 13th, could be a very lucky night for someone, with the Mega Millions jackpot now up to more than $1.3 billion. That's now the second largest jackpot in the game's history. The cash option payout is estimated to be at nearly $708 million before the tax man. And that's it for Consumer Watch. We have radar showing some snow this morning across our area, stretching from northern Oklahoma, snowing in Bartlesville, also Nowata, also over into northern Craig County, and now approaching Veneta, Miami. Here in Joplin, we're starting to see snow as well here at the studio up in Nevada. You can see that it's starting to break up a little bit back towards Chanute and Independence. This is all moving to the south and east, and we're going to see the snow spreading across the metro area over the next hour or so. But then as we go through the morning hours, it will start to move away, and we'll see mostly fair skies by this evening. Travel conditions are not that bad. Some of the roads are snow covered, especially up towards our north in Yates Center, Iola, and Fort Scott. Some roads have some partially covering in Fredonia over towards Chanute and also down towards Independence, but most of the roads are still clear. They're just a little bit wet. If you're planning your day, we're expecting 36 for the high today, 32 at lunchtime, 34 by 5 o'clock with partly cloudy skies, and then dropping down into the 20s by 8 o'clock tonight. Now, taking a look down the lane, we're going to have some morning snow, but a chilly tomorrow. We do have a warmer weekend ahead, though, and also a chance of rain in our forecast for Monday. And, of course, I'll have all the details on that coming up in just a little bit. Stay with us because we have more news and weather straight ahead.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, it's my turn to tackle a big challenge in our series, Never Too Late. And with the help of the U.S. Army, I tried to overcome my fear of heights. Yikes. You gotta see this. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
We take this time to honor today's four-state hero, Staff Sergeant William Ferguson. The Coffeyville, Kansas native served from 1941 to 1945 and then again from 1957 to 1972 in Pearl Harbor, Korea, and 2 tours of Vietnam. This highly decorated veteran earned numerous awards such as the Bronze Star, 3 Army Commendation Medals, the Army Good Conduct Medal, just to name a few. To Staff Sergeant William Ferguson, we thank you, today's 4th State hero. And we're going to kick off our birthday list on this 12th day of January with Wyatt Howard, who is 7 strong. Wyatt's down in Stella, Missouri. Happy birthday. Wishes coming to you from Mom, Sean, Bailey, and Caden.
And we have Axel Dyke, 8 years old in Thayer, Kansas. Love Grandma and Grandpa Leon and Uncle Sergio.
All right, Maddie Miller is celebrating birthday number 13. Welcome to the teenage years, Maddie in Seneca, Missouri. Happy birthday from Dad, Mom, Emma, Chief, and Nanny.
Weston Harris in Jasper, Missouri is celebrating his 14th birthday today. Happy birthday, Weston.
All right, in Lamar, Elijah Morrison celebrating birthday number 14.
And Dakota Tyree, 21, the big 2-1, over there in Scammon, Kansas. Congratulations and happy birthday to you.
All right, and Sarah Tyree celebrating birthday number 96. That's a cool little illustration there. Sarah is in Columbus, and this is Dakota's great-grandmother.
How neat that they share a birthday. All right, let's take it John Hutto in Crestline, Kansas, having a birthday today. Happy birthday to you, John.
In Columbus, and Teely, happy birthday to you.
And Gail Moody turns 80 years old today in Frontenac. Happy birthday to you, Gail.
It's a fun picture there. And Doris Cheney celebrating birthday number 85 in Iola, Kansas. Hope you have a wonderful birthday.
And a very, very special birthday today. Emma Hartsfeld is turning 100 today, and she is a resident at Carrington Place in Pittsburgh. So happy, happy birthday to Emma.
All right, and he's not quite to 100, but he is getting up there in years. This is our good friend, James Mast, our KOAM commercial producer. We love seeing you in the mornings, James. Hope you have a wonderful birthday today.
And we have a few other birthdays. Shirley Scott from Scammon, Kansas, having a birthday today.
Courtney Sire in Columbus, happy birthday to you.
And Paul Hutsey, 95, in Pittsburgh this morning. Happy birthday to you, Paul.
All right, if you have a birthday or an anniversary, all you have to do is send them to either of those 2 emails, or you can mail them to us as well. Birthdays, don't forget the S at KOAMTV.com or birthdays at KOAMNewsNow.com. And please, if you want your birthday to show up on the day it's scheduled to air, which would be the day of their birthday, you need to get it in a day or 2 in advance, please. If you miss the deadline, we do have some strong deadlines on these. If it's Monday through Thursdays, you got to get it in by 3 p.m. the day before. And if it's a Monday birthday, you got to get it in by 1 on Friday, just so we can get them done.
Absolutely. We want to make sure that we get everybody's birthday.
Give us 2 days in advance. We'll get it to you just in time. Hey, but when you're submitting those, you can go somewhere else.
Yeah, you can be a part of the KOAM Birthday Club for going to our website and signing up. You can get special deals from local businesses. A great little birthday gift there. So go to KOAMNewsNow.com and sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club, and be sure to do it today. Coming up, when the KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14, we're going to pull back the curtain to take a loving look back on the career of the wizard here at KOAM, Dale Switzer, who just retired after 47 years at the station. You don't want to miss that special tribute to a man rarely seen in front of the camera, but chances are whose work you have seen every day for several decades. That's coming up on the KOAM Morning News Now on Fox 14. And before we get to that, we're going to take a look at the weather right now down in Seneca, Missouri. It's still pretty nice down there. No wet roads as of yet, but that will be changing as we head towards the morning hours. You can see the Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Dry pavement down there, but the rain and the snow is moving in your direction. And the Kansas road conditions are not that bad, but we do have some areas that we're watching for. Some of the roads are being covered, especially up towards the north and west near Yates Center, over towards Iola and Fort Scott on Highway 54, partially covered in and around the Chanute area, and also down in northwestern parts or just northwest of Independence. Now on the Missouri side, we're still pretty clear for the most part. Roads are starting to deteriorate up towards Jefferson City and Ozark Beach, up in that area, but here we just have a little bit of light snow still moving through the area. You can see on radar stretching from northern Rogers County, Nowata, Craig County over towards Ottawa, and then into the metro area, extending up towards Nevada and over towards St. Clair and Stockton, as well. Your bus stop forecast sending the kids out this morning. There will be some snow around with temperatures right around freezing, but by afternoon when they come home, temperatures will be in the mid-30s with partly cloudy skies. It'll be chilly though with those northwesterly winds at 7 to 12 miles per hour. You're planning your day, a high of 36 with some flurries, but they should be ending by noon. 32 degrees for the lunch hour, 34 at 5, 29 degrees by 8 o'clock tonight. Temperatures are going to be falling down into the 20s as we go into the overnight hours. Right now we're generally seeing readings in the 30s across the area with northerly winds, and when you factor in the wind, it feels like it's in the teens already in Fort Scott, Chautauqua, as well as Parsons. Still feels like it's in the 20s here in the metro area, 30 degrees down in Grove. Right down Joplin, we're sitting at 38 degrees, north wind at 22, makes it feel like 27 with a dew point of 33, and those precip chances with the snow are going to start decreasing as we go through the day, and as we head through the forecast, we're going to see readings in the 30s this afternoon with northwesterly winds, and of course we'll have more when we come back.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. The former president of the 2023 Joplin High School project graduation is charged with felony stealing. Court documents show 42-year-old Melanie Patterson of Joplin was issued a debit card for the class of 2023's project graduation. The documents show the treasurer for Joplin Project Grad noticed suspicious activity on the account and found 5 cash withdrawals not approved by the organization, totaling $1,400. Authorities say Patterson told detectives the debit card in question was stolen and that she had nothing to do with the thefts. To see the probable cause affidavit, you can go to our website at KOAMnewsnow.com. On Wednesday, Home Depot in Joplin hosted a screening of a new documentary-style short film that looks at disaster relief efforts surrounding the Joplin tornado. The film is called Hope Builds and was produced by the Home Depot. Yesterday's event also featured a panel discussion with the film's director and a tour of the building's new storm shelter. Some co-workers of a local Walmart employee are reaching out to help their colleague. 75-year-old Bruce Winch works at Walmart in Joplin. His co-worker set up a GoFundMe account for him in hopes of raising enough money to help Bruce retire. Pittsburgh financial advisor Steve McGavern said one mistake some people make saving for retirement is not starting early enough. And Freeman Health System is making sure its employees are able to stay healthy. They hosted a fitness fair with 26 vendors showcasing health benefits to Freeman employees. Those vendors included fitness centers, nutrition services, and health organizations. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
And we have some snow on the radar this morning. If you're traveling, just be aware of that. We have a winter weather advisory out for St. Clair, Cedar, Dade, and Lawrence counties this morning. That goes until noon. The snow will start to move through the metro area over the next hour or so, but then as we go through the afternoon, we're going to see mostly sunny skies tomorrow with a high of 39 and then partly cloudy for the weekend, but temperatures getting back up close to 60 degrees. Then another round of rain on Monday and yet another round of rain on Wednesday. So it's going to be a little bit unsettled for the next few days, but just a little bit of snow this morning.
All right.
Reminding us that it's still winter.
It is. It is still winter. Yeah. Well, coming up today at noon, we're making better buttermilk biscuits in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. California is facing its 4th year of consecutive drought, a mega drought, and coming up on the CBS Morning, how the abnormally dry conditions are driving up the cost of farm to table.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, we head back into the Chef Anthony Test Kitchen, where Chef is making fried chicken.
Plus, we'll take a look at the warm reception waiting for international students when they hit the campus of Pitt State.
All right.
But that'll wrap it up for now, right?
That is right. Yeah. We'll see you back here tomorrow morning and today at noon.